with people with their with African culture, with Jamaican culture.
But I don't understand why you were so eager to come in and bite his head off, dog. Because I mean, the first question is definitely going to be based off of your experience, and the second question, by him saying it matters about the culture, you just said why, because it doesn't matter if you could be brown and brown. Jamaican and African culture is completely different.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, you just interrupted him in the middle of talking, so.
Can I talk?
You interrupted him in the middle of talking? You don't like it?
I mean, can I talk?
He insulted him and then he dropped.
I wasn't even laughing at him or anything.
What up, Dan?
He did.
I didn't say insult. He's interrupting other people while they talking.
I haven't talked. No, I have not.
What are you talking about?
I'm not even laughing.
Look, dude has dropped. It don't even matter. Dude has dropped. Jess decided he said you was the one laughing. I can't say you were. I was not looking at the screen. It don't matter. You don't got to rebut anything he said because he's not here no more.
Answer the questions. I haven't got a chance to answer.
It's on you, Gifted.
Oh yeah, Black would answer this.
Before you go, everybody who's viewing the screen, go ahead and double tap the screen. Let's hear.
I really want to hear what a black woman got to say about this.
I'm interested in what she has to say too.
Yeah, Princess was black. She said something. For number one,
Yeah, she was the other black. Oh yeah. No, I'm playing. Yeah, that's it right there.
I don't. For number one, already.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, wait, what'd you call me? Ma'am? Offended. No, I thought you said yes. And if I was offended, that's okay. I can. So,
I just wanted to make sure.
I can't hear you. I can't hear you. But number one, why do black women hate black men who date outside their race? Really, black women tell people all the time that we don't care. It doesn't bother us at all. Like who you like, love who you love, be with who you want to be with. It's not gonna, because it doesn't our lives at all. We move forward, right? So, do white teen men treat black women better? Have no idea. Never, was on that side of the fence. Never will be on that side of the fence. So I can't, because I've never interacted with that group in that way. And then, does race matter in dating? For me, it does. That's just a personal preference. I don't get down like that. But that's just about the topic.
All right. Cool. Okay. So let's know you up here. James, you want to answer the prompt?
Hello, I'm so sorry. I was tapping the screen and I lost you.
Jazz.
It's Jazz. So before literally 10 minutes ago to number one, I would have said that I've never seen a black woman who hated a black man for dating outside their race, but I was literally right before this in a live where people were saying that black men were really sure why black women do that. Because it's not my community, it happens. But for the second one, I live in the South, and white men definitely don't treat black women better, in my opinion, down here. I see a lot of white men making black women the butt of their jokes down here. And I just got out of high school a year and a half ago. I'm 19, and when I was in high school, I know I'm not a grown adult yet or anything, but when I was in high school, the amount of men who would treat black women as if they were disgusting and vile was kind of uncanny. And it's not even I'm in a really rural area or anything. I live near Atlanta. And then does race matter in dating? No, it doesn't matter. I've been in one for 3 years. To me, it doesn't matter. I'm sure for some people it does, but I think that as long as you guys try to understand each other's cultures to the best of your ability, and you try to immerse themselves in their culture without being disrespectful, I think that's a good thing. I don't think it's a terrible thing to be different, be interracial.
I would agree with you. I don't think it matters. I mean, if two people love each other, but I do also agree that people can have preferences. Like everybody's allowed to be attracted to the
I think that's okay too.
person. That's okay. I don't care if I'm not somebody's type. That's fine. I'm not offended by it. I don't want to be with somebody who's not attracted to me. You can have personal preferences. I don't have a problem with that.
I think that's okay, but it only goes so far because a lot of white women with black like men and stuff for fetishization, or just dating outside of the race just for like fetishizing them, which does not mean that every single white must happen, and I think it only goes so far.
All right. I mean, Nurse, since you were talking, do you want to address the prompt besides the third one since you already put your stamp on it?
Oh, I mean, obviously, I can't answer the first one. So let's put that out there. I don't know. Honestly, I saw this page because I was looking at the host doing all those calisthenics, and I got really intrigued. Learned about that.
You back there hitting them too.
Yo, figure if I'm gonna be on here, I might as well kill two birds with one stone.
I always want to learn about this topic and also the calisthenics.
I'm actually tutorial yesterday. I still got to put the video up, but it's going on my YouTube. So go to my bio and follow me.
Oh, so you're right. I love that.
Is anybody not answered?
Yes, you sound perfectly.
I'm good. You're good. Yeah. All right. Ballin, do you want to address the prop?
Sorry, I just heard ballin, didn't realize NBA ball.
Oh, that's a girl.
I'll say that. I'm over here, girl. I'll say it.
I know. Okay. I'll address the prompt. Number one. Why do black women hate? I'm gonna speak from personal experience on this one. I personally don't hate black men that date outside the race, but I don't like black men that only date outside their race, like a cool or uncle. Because they won't just date outside the race.
There's that word.
Like, what?
Especially
Sorry,
What was that? She was just saying that though. Tell me, girl.
let's go before we address that. Keep going.
My bad. So yeah, they think patriarchy. Like, for example, I have this friend, black guy. He's a cop. Well, he's not really my friend, but I know him. And he's dating this white Latino woman. He only likes white women.
There's no such thing as a white Latino woman. What? Right? Is she mixed? But it's a whitish.
It's a typical.
One place.
I don't know.
Because Latina's not a race. Because there's black Latinos, but like when people say Latinos, they like white Latinos, not like black Latinos.
Wait, does that make sense? I was doing this with you.
Are they just making characters?
Bro, I don't understand, but we understand. Like, Jesus.
Latina's not a race.
I got you.
Anyway,
White.
like, he is white. Do you know how race works? There's only like 4 races.
No.
There's not race. It's not race.
Human race.
I like that.
All right, we're gonna live with the for sure. Yeah. But realistically,
Not ethnicities, but race. There's a human race. We're all humans. Let's all
You feel me?
But
Look.
we all have ethnicities, absolutely.
So should I put? Does ethnicity matter?
yeah, I live in a.
That is crazy.
Continue.
All people. Let's see these calisthenics.
Go ahead, continue.
Y'all make me lose track of what I'm saying now.
You say you got a
We're
black
going on a story when we need
Oh
to.
yeah,
There are
yeah. So she loves dropping the M-bomb, talking about how black women this kind of feels the same way. He feels like he's upgraded because he got a white woman now.
They both sound gross to me.
Black women so angry. They wear weaves. This girl does the same thing. She stabs him, throws mugs at him. Always in trouble, but he's like, nah, she's just spicy. She's just spicy. So it's like they hold black women to another standard. That's why I don't like those type of black men that only date outside the race. They're willing to sell their own, backstab their own just to be with Snow Bunny.
You said
And
you said give him 10,000 lashes for the disrespect.
oh my God, yeah. Okay, I'll jump on so he can be with her.
I don't know how to that is hard. Human on this earth has known, right?
Yeah, we all do. Except for albinos, I don't think they have any.
They do still. It's just a little bit less.
A lot bit less.
It's in our hair. Melanin is in our eyes. It's in our skin. We all have melanin. It's like,
Yeah. Yeah, we're all the same, right? We're all different shades of black.
Oh, I'm just getting warmed up. But if you can hear me, go ahead and double tap the screen. Let's get some light circulating in here. If you can't share it with somebody, put a F1 in the chat.
Hey man, we gotta bring Davina. What's she talking about? Davina down there snapping.
If you want to come up, somebody got to drop.
Real quick. Just so I know, y'all race.
White. I'm white.
I always put other.
yeah, I don't know how to answer that. It depends on who you ask because I'm obviously white. But if you ask like a white,
Oh, she racist.
Oh, that's what you're gonna say you are, other than white.
Yeah, so the white supremacist, I am technically Jewish. My family's not.
That's white.
So
Uh-oh.
it depends on who you ask. It depends on who you ask.
That's not a race, though.
Wait a minute, because the Jewish weren't considered white until
We weren't.
Okay,
And so look. Earlier, the whole race thing first came up, and you're talking about white tea and whatever. So white tea wasn't the race until like the 60s. You had Jewish, you had German, you had. Hold up. Look, hey. So I haven't said this yet. My only rule is try to one at a time. And if I'm talking, please don't talk over me. You feel me? It's like there was no separation of the YT race the way it is. I mean, there was no until about maybe 50, 60 years ago. Of New York, they were still separate. It was German, it was Italian, and that's why you had the boroughs and the separation between the neighborhoods in New York and Chicago because they were not intermingling, because they weren't accepting each other. Everybody was racist. And then the more time they spent in the same neighborhoods, their kids. I want a Christmas tree. Not a Christmas tree. I want presents. I want to celebrate this holiday. They wearing these clothes. I want my clothes to look like them. They say I smell funny when I go to school. Slowly but surely, they started getting rid of their culture and became white. And then it's people who look like this and the Indians to have to figure out what to do because we couldn't assimilate all the way.
So yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I mean, that's great and all, but like if you face,
I mean, it is. It's an ethno religion. So like
I mean, Josiah,
it comes up to.
if you just listen to what I said, everybody was separate, including Jewish people.
Clearly, all I have to say there's one race, the human race.
No, that's just not
like,
true.
Like human race created racism.
When Josiah's in the mood to rebut things, we're going to let him without arguing against it.
you just answer the question anyway without it being like
I'm just saying, like,
Thank
I mean, what you're saying. I mean, I get what you're saying. I get like what you're trying to like promote, but
I'm not trying to promote it. I said I'm white. I am a white person.
I mean, look, I understand what he's saying, but also if you go and look throughout, there has been separations of people, and Jewish was one of the separations still to this day. It might not be a race of people, but they're acknowledged as their own sect of people.
Yeah, that's a
That's why I said it. You ask me, I'm gonna tell you I'm a white person.
The reason for that it's not a race is because when we come up, the names that we come up for things, we come up with names to signify differences so we know what to call things. That doesn't mean that people weren't white or certain people weren't white. That
The word white didn't exist at first, dog.
I understand what you're saying. I get it. What I'm saying is just because we didn't have a name to call something doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
Okay, so call that to my ancestors who were burned in ovens. Because they were white, but yet they were Jewish.
Her point is, her
little bit more empathy, a little bit more compassion towards them, because you project positive intent to their behavior and their actions. When it's somebody that don't look like you always looking at them with the side eye, so you don't mask up as much, and you're going to demand what you're supposed to have. The elected appraisal is that they're supposed to treat you better. Who leaves people that they want to be with, that they smell like, that they feel is foreign to them, and then accept the same treatment that they were getting from what they left? It doesn't make any sense. So
Just hold on real quick. Hold on, I just have a clarifying question for you. I do. So is it that you think white men do treat black women better, or you think that, or do you think that no, that black men equally treat black women as much as white men do?
Would you say that again?
Like for number 2, like, do you believe that white men treat black women better, or you think they treat them the same as black men do?
Well, my answer to that, we can be an a-hole in any nationality. A-holes come in all colors.
Right. So she's asking you, what is your answer to the question?
Thank you. I just need to clarify that thing.
So I don't. All men treat me great. So I don't know.
Bro, do white teen men treat black women better? Yes or no?
I don't know. They all treat me great. I don't know how other women experience what I'm trying to get it. That is treating her bad. She's not gonna go to a foreign place and allow herself to be treated badly. So the easy answer would say yes. But if a woman is accustomed to terrible treatment and she's comfortable with it, every man she get with, black, white, Hispanic, whatever she get with, is gonna treat her like trash.
I agree. I like you. Okay, so yeah.
And does race matter when dating? Oh, before you answer number 3, anybody who's in here, go ahead, double tap the screen, hit that boy at least 20 times. And then, does race matter in dating, Defina?
I don't think race matter though.
Your name's not Defina, dog.
For me, race matters. For me, who I date, I care about it. But who my children bring home, they can bring home. If I don't like them, I don't like them. It doesn't matter what race they are. So
That's beautiful. I love that.
Jesus, I'm still doing that last move.
No, I don't think that's how they act, to be honest.
Does anybody want to comment on anything Defina said?
Well, I don't base it off of actions, because people can fake for a long time. So people can pretend to be.
Like, I feel like you'll see underlying tones of how they act. Just looking closely. You see what I'm saying? Like, I don't think people just change overnight like that. Or like just play a long act.
The only thing I have to comment on is the weird statement of that black women are upset when black men date outside their race as an idea of ownership. Like, you own these black men, so you have the right to be upset or jealous that this man who you are not dating, you have no ties to, no dating outside this race. You don't own these men, so you don't have the right to be angry just because they're not dating you.
Do you like when you say like these kind of things? Can I say something? When you say these kind of things, you don't think that
They don't have a right. They have rights.
Bro, do you understand
Defina,
that
can you
people
please
know?
let?
You don't think that people like understand consciously that they don't physically own anyone? Don't you think it's like you have to like dig a little deeper and kind of understand perspective? Don't you think it's more of, hey, I'm a black woman, and since in terms of culture and race, my counterpart is a black man. So to some degree, I feel entitled to the love from my people. It's not about someone actually physically thinking they own someone. Like, what is it like? Stop being disingenuous.
It's not being disingenuous. That would be like me as an indigenous going around and saying that that whether it's the indigenous side or the white side, it doesn't fucking matter. That I can turn around and say, oh, I'm so unhappy that this white side of my race, because I have some weird entitlements to this person that has nothing. You don't have any ownership. You don't have. This is a person. You can't state that you feel entitlement to somebody that you do not have.
All right, Miss Defina, I got this. So I got this. And we can't hear you, Defina. Your mic is messed up. So, Miss, I understand what you're saying, but nobody was saying that it's over a sense of ownership, and it's more so due to the lack. Because right after, what up, Slim? Right after she just said that there's a disparity as a minority. You feel me? So, yes, no one has ownership over somebody, but you can feel whatever you want. And if you feel resenting or somebody, that's okay. But is it justified is another question. So we're not here to police how people are viewing it or how they feel about it. And what Josiah was saying, you got to understand a place of I'm not getting something. You feel me? So it's not because I'm trying to control you. It's because I'm now hurt. And why is this the case? A lack of BOK men, just period. The statistic shows that a third of them are locked up, and then the half that's left, half of them like women. Like men. So that leaves half of a third for all who want to date BOK men. And from running this panel, the majority of BOK women who have been on here said that they would prefer, not they only, but they would prefer to be with the BOK man. So, unfortunately, knowing the statistics are not in their favor, once I see somebody have something that I don't have, it's hurting my feelings because now I have a chance of having it. Realistically, should I think this way as an adult? Like, maybe I shouldn't realistically think about it that way, but that doesn't mean my feelings ain't hurt.
I'm not gonna lie, everything he just said was true, but honestly, it's not even that deep. If you're a person in your race, the only way that you don't have love your race is if that 100% of your race are just insanely terrible people. Which that's not anybody in any race. You should love your own people. If you're a person that doesn't love your own people, you're odd.
Okay. Can I say something?
You can love your own people.
I'm so sorry.
It doesn't mean you have to date them though.
You can love your own people and not date them.
Yeah.
I feel the same way.
I do too.
That look too much like me and creeps me out.
I'm not saying I'm an advocate for it, but you can still love your people, not date them. I think that's what goes on in this situation, right?
Yeah. I agree.
Hey,
That's a form of attachment.
right. Please let them speak. She's run up here for that. Please let her speak.
But what I was gonna, no one really cares about black men being outside of their race. The problem comes in that talking anyway.
Next story.
The black nobody cares for them. The problem comes in when you start to say all these problems and negative things about black women when you're dating that white woman. Nobody gives a care who you date. You love who you love. You do what you do. Nobody cares. But when you turn around and bash us, problem.
Only reason I have to disagree with you really quick, Dan, is because there literally was a BOK woman who said, I personally feel some type of way because I know that's one less BOK man for me to possibly date and or marry. You feel me? So I hear what you're saying. Yes, but that's not the case for every woman. Don't like it because it makes them jealous.
It does. Well, me, it makes them jealous. God, it makes them jealous.
If it's gonna open up the conversation,
Look. Let her finish. I just wanted to say that.
But I see what you're saying, Jules, and I can only speak for me. It don't make me jealous at all. But you turn around and bash us, that's when I get mad. But
like how?
Is jealousy? No.
Wait, but how do they bash like black women?
Bro, save your questions for the end.
No, I'm just asking.
I hear you, and I'm not telling you not to ask. I literally just said, please finish the other two questions. And as soon as she said something else, you asked the follow-up question that wasn't her answering. So I'm not saying ask. I said let her finish.
When it comes to race and dating, no, I really don't think it matters. like I say, who you love, you go with where it's celebrated, not tolerated. So if that's with a white woman, fine. If that's with indigenous, cool. If that's with black, cool. It doesn't matter. But when it comes to white men treating black women better, I honestly don't know because I've never dated outside my race. So that's why I say I don't know.
I have a question.
That's pretty good. Do you mind asking?
So we had to like when you read the first question, why did you say something that did not pertain to the question?
What?
Like the first question is why do black women hate black men for dating outside their race? And while it may not be anyone in this panel, there have been a lot of times when even myself, when I've been around black women and they go, oh, like, you know, well, what's your type? What's your type? Like, if a black woman is interested, I ask you what your type is, and if you say, oh, like, I like this kind of girl. If you say something that's not black, if you say like, oh, a white girl, they'll be like, oh, he one of them. Get him away from me. Like, we literally get hate for liking outside of a race. So I don't understand. Like, you saying that you bringing up bashing and all that, it has nothing to do with the question at all.
Well, what I'm saying is that I'm only speaking from my perspective. I can't speak for everybody. So what I'm saying is that if you say your preference, cool. But don't turn around and say black women are is, black women are that, when they not what you want. I don't care what you do. But what they have going on, that's their business. I can't speak for everybody.
And I speak.
No, the question is asking you about other women.
No, the question is asking you what you think is the answer to it. It doesn't say why do some black women outside of the race, like it says why do black women hate when men date outside their race? However she wants to interpret that, understand what was wrong with her answer.
Because the question is not asking about your personal experience.
But if she wants to her answer, you feel me? That's what she is using as the background for her answer. We're all speaking from our own personal experiences and what we see. The answer to this question is not written in a textbook anywhere.
I didn't say that.
But you're acting like her response is invalid because she spoke from experience when all of us are speaking from experience, dog. None of this is written in a textbook for it to be right. Then you should leave. If you don't want opinions, leave.
No, I didn't say that I don't. I'm saying that I'm saying that the statement that black women.
I'm saying you telling her that it was a problem with her answer because it was based off of personal experience is not furthering this conversation because everybody's answer is an opinion, dog. Everybody's answer is an opinion. Is all I'm saying. So
you're gonna abuse me, bro? I listen to everybody talking. I don't interrupt nobody, bro.
Right, but my one request that you were here when I said it twice is that if I meet someone and start talking, don't unmute yourself.
I didn't even finish my point. You interrupted me. Like what?
I didn't say any other thing other than if I'm talking and I mute you, don't unmute yourself.
Can you let me finish?
What else do you have to say? You told her answer was invalid.
Okay,
Did she even get to answer the third question?
Yeah, she answered it already.
Yeah, I did.
I let everybody's. I don't interrupt nobody. What you mean? Okay, what I'm saying is the statement, why do black women hate black women? That is a general statement.
And she chose to answer from her personal experience.
Okay, that statement, why do black women hate black women, is a general statement that actually happens in real life. Whether or not you've probably been through it does not pertain to the.
But if she's never experienced it, how is she going to answer?
Can I finish?
She did answer it. She said that that they don't care. Like there's not a reason for the hate because they don't care.
She said the first thing she said was black. She said black women don't care, and that's not true.
Whoa. Okay. That's me.
Why don't you? All of my frustration would have been saved if you said I disagree with her first point that black women don't care. We're having this question.
To say what?
You literally just said she's wrong. She cannot be right or wrong. You disagree. So it would have, I said, all of my frustration would have been easily saved if you just said, I disagree with her first point because BLK went, and that is the reason why we're having this conversation.
That's literally what I said.
No, it's not.
That is what I said.
It's not. Moving on. Frostley, please answer the questions.
I guess I just have to agree with this. I guess
No, I just told him to say I disagree. You did not say that. It don't fucking matter. You didn't hear me, and it's fine.
The first one, I think they don't like it, and I don't know if we can use the H word, so I just say don't like. But I think they don't like. And the young lady said some of them don't care, and I think I don't agree with that because there's many women that have attacked men who date interracially that said nothing about them. One in particular, Patrick Mahomes, didn't say nothing about black or BLK women, but yet he's attacked every single time he's in the look at Bronny James. Bronny James took the white tee girl to prom, and not only did BLK women get under his comment section, cuss out his family, cuss out his mama, cuss out his dad, all they care. And they don't show BLK men that they care because they think that you care about us doing this, so now you better get right. So that's why most of them don't want to take it and say, well, I don't care what you do as long as you don't say nothing to us. But there's a lot of them that haven't said nothing, a single whisper about BLK women, but yet they had so to say about them. In the draft, remember the draft got here, and you already know the conversation that comes. And these men haven't said a lick of steak about BLK women, but yet they have so much to say about who they're with, why they're with them. So they try to bring up patriarchy, misogyny, and all these TikTok buzzwords about them, and all they did was just literally. A lot of women see that as a form of attack. Oh man, you went out there, say you're successful. If you're successful, you went out there, got you a woman of another race. When you're a BLK man, you should be with us, and you better like it. So I'll go with the next question. Do white teen men treat from what I'm told about this whole situation? They don't treat them bad. Women just have a lower scale for these, right? A lot of these, and they have the most humble of means, and they would just do it all, right? We also I don't know how long everybody been on, but it was a man on TikTok didn't have nothing. I mean, he was broke as a joke, and this BLK woman was paying for everything, and then when they had a crash out, she got on there saying, "Oh, you didn't say that when I put this in your name, and I put this in my name, and all this other stuff." So yes, to a certain extent, they're lower their standards for these white teen men because they see them as superior. And if I can get one of them, what's the third one? I can't see, brother.
Does race matter in dating?
I don't think race matter. I think treatment is better than race. All right, I'm not gonna sit here. I'm not a proponent of interracial dating, but I'm always gonna tell people go where you are treated correctly. And if that's a white teen person, black, Asian, whatever, go where you're comfortable, go where you're celebrated, and don't put any color on it because you may jam well with some of these people. So I don't see a purpose in it, and I'll land there if somebody wants to talk.
Nina?
To comment or talk furthermore to somebody's point.
Nina would like to know. I saw her comment.
Thanks, Nurse Dutch. So I wanted to revisit the discussion about the invention of the term YT because the host was talking about that, and that's actually what piqued my interest. And it only started kind of like post Jim Crow, and I just wanted to correct that. The invention of YT people came in the 60s because during that time in the colonial Americas, there were a plethora of nationalities and different ethnicities here living on this landmass, and the British colonial aristocracy was here, and it was like 12 women to their one man, and the white tea women mating and intermarrying with all the men that were here because the men that were here more so than the colonial men. And this is citable. Are interested, I can share some. But they were marrying everybody because they offered them more stability, they own land, and they could just offer more. The working class of people, they were called indenturists, and they were aging out of their indentured servitude. The time they was in a time of indentured servitude. So the aristocracy kept on inventing ways to elongate the indentured servitude. And one of the things that they did to do that was to say, for every woman who marries an indentured servant, all of her kids will also be indentured servant for more years. And then there was a rebellion. It was called Bacon's Rebellion, and killed it. Unalived everybody that they could. And Percy wrote back to the king and was like, we got to figure out something. And the king was like, don't worry, we've already been working with the French to work out a divide and conquer mechanism. So then they came back and started introducing laws that outlets for British colonial women. They called them white women. That was the first time as white, and they were referring to British colonial women, and they were trying to set aside women to be married to the British colonial aristocracy. So that was the invention of white people. Before that, they was all mixing and mingling. It wasn't like the brown skinned melanated people was not the lowest of the low. They held titles, they held lands, they held political positions in the country. It was not that came after those laws were introduced. And the reason that those laws were introduced was not so it worked out and the system worked out like that. Those laws were created to ex-British colonialists so that they could compete with the men and the families and the people who already owned the lands that were already here. They economically could not keep up. They did not know how to work this land. They were passing away, and their generations were going extinct. So they was just trying to advance themselves, and so they created them to benefit off of. And our whole system, all living and breathing and seeing systemic racism. It's that because it was trying to advance the people who was benefiting off of it the most, and they just kept building more onto it. And so that's how we got to where we are right now. And then as far as BLK people, I want to clear this up because I always try to clear this up every time I get a chance. The reason why it's so offensive to melanated individuals from around the globe to be called Black is because that title was designated for the melanated people on this particular landmass. And what Black means militaristically, law, it means redacted. Redacted is when you have a document and you black out the part that you don't want people to read. So that's what Black means. And that's why all other nations know that only American women can be Black. So I hope that helps. It's not an offensive thing to say that. I understand why Black women or Black, everybody is so upset when somebody who look our color want to distance themselves from us, but I don't take offense by it because only us have been redacted. Only us have experienced this struggle. Only us have had our essence robbed. So it makes sense. I understand. I understand Black women's pain. I understand Black ownership of Black men. I understand why they be like, get back. Is because once you have every opportunity and every advantage laid at your feet, and now you want to come for our little old men. That's the feeling that's what it is. A lot of people like to say that they don't care, but when you look at it like that, you can't avoid it.
Zatina, can I ask you a question? When you said that Black women had their essence robbed, what do you mean by that? I'm genuinely asking. I'm not trying to be funny.
So do you notice how when you look around the globe and you see the culture that is kind of pushed forward, what's popular culture? Like anytime I see young Indian girls who, cultures around the world are so rich. I'm just using Indian girls because I'm thinking of my friend Jency specifically. They love to dance. They belly dance. They have a lot of cultural music, Bollywood. That's a whole culture. One of the most famous Indian dancers that I see, she does hip hop. There is no question where hip hop came from. Two of my favorite influencers on Instagram are it's like two twin girls. They're from like Sweden. They all their content is about how they love God. They look like us. And you just gotta know when you see, you know what it is when you see it. Like this American culture, this Black American culture that has permeated the whole globe. That's what I'm talking about. And when we say we did that in like for example, boxer braids. Who knows what boxer braids are?
Yeah, you know what that is.
And so that I don't gotta explain that further. Yeah, boxer, quote unquote, boxer braids.
But like the braids they be wearing and like fight or I'm sorry,
yes, cornrows, right, exactly. Yes, but when girls with less melanin, when girls on the one scale of melanin wear it, it's called boxer braids, as if that's who invented it. Like it didn't become a thing in pop culture, even though we know where it came from. Rather than acknowledge the source, we give it a new name and rebrand it and call it something else. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay. No, I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that. That's actually true.
All right, we got 3 people in here who haven't answered the questions.
Sorry.
Clyde, Frostley, and Sam.
New person.
Y'all haven't answered the questions directly.
I thought he was addressing the new person on the panel. I did not see that.
What you say, Jules?
Answer the questions.
Why do black women hate black men? Okay. Well, the first question, I just think it's really just jealousy, to be honest. I just think like they don't necessarily like seeing a black man going for a white woman, especially like when the black man is successful. And yeah, that's really what it is. It's mostly just jealousy. And number 2, why do white men treat black women better? I'll say the answer to number 2 will probably be, I guess, just like they're more financially stable. And that's not really saying that black men can't be financially stable. It's just that majority of Americans that are in poverty are minorities. So like that would include Black, Indian, Asian. Any minority would be more likely to be in poverty than a white person. So
well, the question isn't why, it's do.
That's not true, but go on.
The question is do, not why.
Huh?
Do, not why.
Oh, so, well, yeah, I mean, probably not. Like, say, do I?
You could just say no and keep moving. That's fine.
Yeah, I don't know, but I guess like just saying white people are more financially stable than minorities. So that's my whole thing on that. And does race matter in dating? I don't think race matters in dating. I think it's just the character of the person that really matters at the end of the day. That's really good. Those are my answers, though.
Did you know that the biggest race of poverty in America is white people?
It is.
Yeah, there's more white people. I mean, well, to be fair, there are more white people in America in general.
Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of white people that live in poverty.
No, but I'm saying there's more white people in America, so I wouldn't be surprised if there's more white people in poverty. You see what I'm saying? So, because there's like more of them. Yeah, I think proportionally though, I don't know if that's the case. Because like there's like 80% of America is white. So yes, there would be more white people that are in poverty. But now we have to look at the percentages. You know, like out of all the black people, how many are in poverty? How many are 60% of black men are employed.
Say that again?
60% of black men are employed. A black American man. Okay. No, that believes that black men are most black men are in poverty. I'm not saying you believe this, but I'm just saying in general that some people believe that that there's a stigma that black men are hardworking, they don't have jobs, and etc. They live in poverty. That's not true. 60% of black men are employed.
Yeah, don't sleep on your own race. But
I don't know if I'm my next or
Clyde.
okay. So in terms of the first question, why do black women hate black men who date outside their race? I would say it's primarily because it comes with a lot of self-hate alongside that too. Like they fetishize things like if it's foreign, it's automatically like this trophy, and they feel like it's a notch on their belt. And then as far as like the wealth aspect of it, it's like this idea that the richer you get, then all of a sudden now you need some other ethnicity to pair with. I think that's sort of the point of contention that a lot of people don't like, and I think it's very valid because you worked to get a lot of like generational wealth, and for whatever reason you don't feel like you want to build an entirely black family, even though you came most likely from an entirely black family. So I think that kind of is the why they get a lot of stake in terms of like celebrities that are very wealthy, and then day to day it's more like there's a self-hate aspect to it of like you think you're too good for whatever reason. It's very weird. Then the second question, why do white men treat black women better? I wouldn't say that's the case. I think obviously I can't really answer that to the fullest extent, but I would say that if the quote unquote treatment is oftentimes very material in terms of like you might go on more dates, et cetera, but I think treatment should be more like how like substantive your conversations are, how well you can be vulnerable with that person in terms of issues that affect you. Can you actually talk about the things that affect you as a black woman? And if that person is receptive to that and is compassionate about it, then if they're white, that's fine. But I think a lot of times it's a very superficial relationship and it looks good on paper and Instagram, but it doesn't mean that you're really being treated better to the fullest extent. And then for the last question, does race matter in dating? I would say yes, it definitely matters. It's not the end all be all. I think it's more so if that person is understanding of issues and trauma that you have and are willing to work through that and work with you, but you can find your partner of any race. But I think for me, I always find it's easier to, in terms of commonality, like talking, relatability and stuff, to date within your own race, but I'm not against interracial dating at all.
all right. Real quick before we just go to the next person, for the panel, more specifically for number 2, because I've been seeing this happen, you do not need to go into great detail about it. We will when we talk about it. Like literally just say yes or no, and then quickly why you think about it, and then move on to the next question.
Can I say something really quick from my perspective of life from being from New York? When I see people with money up here, really truly it's not majority white, black, it's Arabics and Turkish and Indians, and those people got money. Just saying.
All right.
That's so bad. That's so bad.
I'm just saying. You want to know what I think? I think it's because they're coming over here, like they're only like a couple generations back. You know what I mean? So it's like.
No. Do you want to know what it is?
Oh, that's a couple individuals.
Do you want to know what I believe it is?
Nah, yo, they run New York.
Look, this is what it
They
is.
really got money for it.
In New York.
Look, this is what it is. They come over here, first off, for a reason. They come for a reason, they come with a purpose, and they maintain a family unit, and they maintain their culture. There's discipline. There are rules. You feel me? There are repercussions. If you don't do what was already set forth as the plan, you do not get a part of the family lineage or the heritage. You feel me? And their parents, I have an Indian friend. His parents were in every aspect of his life. They let him do what he wanted to do. He dated white girls, he dated black girls, he dated Native American girls. You best believe their grandparent or their grandbabies is Indian from the same part of India, just like them once he got married. You feel me? Like, no ifs, ands, buts.
But Jules, it's also too what Denise said down in the comments. So when they come over here, they get these grants to open up small businesses and stuff like that. They're getting a lot of stuff that Americans don't get.
I ain't gonna lie, that is true.
Hold on. If I can speak on this just a little bit.
Because at the gas stations they get tax breaks. That's why they just keep hiring their nephews.
Facts.
So they get
Well, yeah, and I was just about to say that. Like when I went to college, I had to tutor this Arabic kid, and I would go over his house and everything, and he kind of let the cat out the bag. Well, what happened is one of them will come over here and they'll work their butt off. They'll be a taxi driver. They'll do all the jobs that we don't want. Then mind you, that's 7 years of no taxes. Then they'll bring their family over, put it in mom's name. That gas station that they get, that's another 7 years without taxes. Then they bring another family member over here, and that's another 7 years without taxes.
But that also follows what I said, though. There was a script. There was a script. And if you did not stick to the script, your ass was not benefiting from none of it. And for some of them, that meant you was going back home. You feel me? So at the end of the day, what matters is that they had a script, they had a plan, and they stuck to it. And a part of the plan was about keeping the family unit together, but also intact from the way that they do things as their family. You feel me? Here in America, white, black, brown, it don't matter. After 2 generations, we do what is best for us.
That's what I was about to say. So, and this was the hurtful part. So, one of his older brothers had a baby out of wedlock with, I think she was a Filipino woman, right? So, in order to, they took everything from him. They took the gas station out of his name. They took the stores out of his name. They made his things look so low that he could not survive. That he had no choice but to go back. He had no choice but to go back because they took everything from him, and that's because they come over here like the host said. You have a mandate and you can follow. Now you can play off that script, but the moment you make some moves that go beyond that script where they can't fix it enough, you're done. And then there's no me. No, you're for the family unit only. And we don't have that sense of community. We don't.
All right, okay. Valley left, unfortunately. But Slim, if you want to go ahead and raise your hands on top.
Hey y'all.
What up, Slim?
Hey, what's up, Dan? What's up? Man, interesting. I've been in the comments just dying. I am telling you, everybody has very good perspectives. I love everybody's viewpoints. I've been listening to everybody. And so what I think is, why do BLK women hate BLK men who date outside the race? I don't think it's a hate. I don't. I think it's a strong dislike or feel slighted. BLK women feel slighted when some of them see BLK men dating outside the race, because if one may feel like if you can treat this woman that's not inside of our race so high and treat her and give her such high regard, but then you're out here calling us, BITCHs or 304s, why are we not getting the same respect that one would give someone outside the race? Number 2, do white tea men treat BLK women better? I think they do. I personally have dated a white tea man. I think they do. I think that their morals are just different. Their standards are different. And so how they view their woman is different. How they're raised is different. And does race matter in dating? I don't think so.
Can I ask a question? Is it just white tea women that y'all feel slighted with? Say if it was a Hispanic or a Filipino, as you said, or a Chinese, y'all still feel slighted with them as well? Or do you think they do?
Yes, I believe that some feel slighted either way, just outside the race period.
Okay. Because I keep hearing like bring up white tea women, and I'm like, I know it's outside the race, but is it like specifically them y'all got an issue with, or just the rest of the cultures?
I don't have an issue with it. I believe that love is love, and you can't help who you love, no matter if they black, brown, purple, blue, yellow, orange, or green. I don't think that really matters. Right.
Absolutely.
I can dig it.
I have a question. So what is considered white? Because it's so black and white in America. So what is considered white? Like what is?
No, that's true.
I'm sorry?
I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Like, is it Indian women? Is it women? Like, okay, so then what is it?
They talk about blonde hair, blue eyes.
Indian women?
Blue eyes. That's a
Blonde hair, blue eyes.
Indian women? Right. Somebody said, "Are you for real?" Who asked that?
No, it's tell me what do you mean? Because people keep going all the time. I don't associate with a color. I'm Sicilian, which is an island in between Africa and Italy.
All right. So look, you're Sicilian, Africa, Italy. A lot of people will consider you Italian. A lot of Italians now consider themselves white. You feel me? What is a white person?
Italians don't even consider Sicilians Italian.
I understand. I hear you, but this is what I'm about to say, dog. You're light skinned. You're pale. People who are even just light skinned will be called white if people don't do their due diligence, and that's part of the reason we asking these questions, because it's like, how do you even know? Is there people who are from African American heritage, but they look white?
What do you run in your applications?
Other?
I always do other.
I do other, or I check them all. My grandma's mom was white passing, so I'm white, dog. I put Native American, I put Jamaican, I put Islander, I put everything, dog.
Honestly, I put black, and the only reason I put black is because my parents actually, when I was born, they named me a name where you couldn't tell if I was male, female, black, or white.
Okay.
So,
What's that name?
Dan.
Denver?
That is very ambidextrous.
Yeah, I mean, it might be a name. I don't know.
I said ambidextrous. I'm tweeting.
So like you'll see people down in the comments like somebody said I'm not white, I'm Polish.
If somebody said I'm not white.
Somebody else said I'm not white, I'm Italian. But I think it's because a lot of immigrants came over here.
No, it's because the terms are ignorant.
Jules, can I just finish really quick? But I think that the history that comes with being considered white is ugly. It's disgusting. And a lot of immigrant families that came over here later on that weren't a part of that don't want to be associated with it, and they claim their ethnicity. They don't want it graped from them. You understand what I'm saying? Because that's what America does. It grapes you of your culture.
Yes and no, but like I was saying earlier, the melting pot. If it was up to
they try to
speak, please.
identity.
Let the host speak, please.
Yo, Frank, are you gonna add to the point?
It's his logic.
Dude, I just said the host was talking.
Shut
that big ass mouth.
Pop it out your mouth, bro.
Shut up.
You like girls and
Shut the trash.
whoa.
I don't understand why we bring in what people look like into it, dog. All she did was say, just let me talk. Like,
My bad, bro.
like, and literally all she said is I have started talking. And what I was about to say is to what Tell was saying is like, yes and no. I will definitely agree that the reason why a lot of people today stray away from YT is because of the connotation that goes with it. But at the same time, the reason why the term has been so blanketed is because at one point in time, that is what was preferred. That is what was wanted. The same way how people of color are outcasted, it was easy to outcast people like that back in the day because they were still wearing their cultural, you feel me, get-ups. They were still eating the same cultural food on a regular basis. They smelled like whatever their culture was. So if a German American went around Italian American and around a Polish American, they knew that person was German. And they would be like, they're Germans. Like, if you look at just, man, racism goes deeper than just brown people, which is why YT became such a big, just conglomerate. It became a conglomerate because it was easier to hide amongst the group than it was to stand in culture in your own ethnicity. And then now we just go based on what our eyes are saying to us. A matter of just separation, Jim Crow, stuff like that. We were the easiest ones to see. Indian people were the easiest ones to see. And even then, I just said my grandmother's mother was white passing. Do you not think she had advantages? And so really this whole conversation is based off of the fact that people are dumb.
That's crazy.
Yeah, just what I was trying to say is that literally the host said multiple times when he's speaking, please do not speak. And it's
Oh my God, bro.
you gotta speak.
I get it, man. Pop it out your mouth.
I'm saying this to everyone. I'm not just saying this to you. This goes for everybody. I was saying this to everybody.
Can I ask something about
Yeah.
why is it every time somebody is saying something that's facts, like Frog just said, after Jules has said it multiple times that when he's talking, don't interrupt, you immediately go for the jugular. Like, why is that?
What you mean? I'm just, I felt very attacked. That really hurt my feelings.
But that doesn't mean to immediately tell her.
Smell like, we should just hug it out. You know what I mean?
But that doesn't mean immediately tell her that she looks like she exposed.
No, I mean, he is exactly.
I feel like the only reason, and I'm gonna say that, I feel like the only reason that you said that is because your hair is cut short.
No, the reason I said that was because her hair was That's basic.
The reason you said it is because her hair is cut short.
No.
And coming from another woman with short hair, I have 360 waves, by the way. Yeah.
360?
Yes.
God.
I have 360 waves as a female.
Bro.
I'm so confused.
Wait, you weigh 360?
What the hell he said?
No, I said I have 360 waves.
I'm not mad. I just want to know what he said.
I have 360 waves. So,
Did he just say she weighed 360?
Which is a lie. I don't weigh 360, but
This guy.
So you got waves type shit?
Waves, yes I do.
Oh, no, that's hard. No, that's tough.
When people are threatened by an argument, they resort to personal attacks.
She wasn't moving an argument though. She was just.
But I'm reading comments. Don't mind me. I'm just reading the comments.
Yeah, it's
Clyde, did you answer, dog?
4% white type shit.
What?
Clyde, did you answer? All right, bet.
Answer her.
I did. There's someone new on the panel.
Wait, did he answer the question?
Yeah, I've been in chat for a minute, cuz. I've been on.
Yeah, he left and came back.
Dan, did you want to get into or about like how you believe that most black women don't really care about black men who date outside their race? They just care about when they bash black women.
Oh no. What I was saying was that me in particular, I don't care.
Yeah, I think the thing about that
personal statement.
Do you think that's the thought of the masses?
No.
So you think in mass black women do care?
I mean, I'm just speaking off of what I've seen. A lot of the times I see that some black women do care about it.
I'm going to say that I think some of it comes from trauma. Go ahead, ask your question, Telly. I'll say my point. I'll remember it.
I just want to say really quick, do you think it's because majority of black women don't want to date outside their race?
That's where a lot of it stems from. I think the two biggest things is because so many of them say is not a problem until you start speaking down on other women, you feel me, or other BOK women, which fair enough, I understand that. But I'm just going to speak from my own personal experience where not only have I had this conversation, but with a woman I was dating. Literally, I don't remember how long we have been seeing each other. We have been seeing each other for at least 6 months, whatever the case may be. And when we met, I was seeing another woman, you feel me? And she saw that woman and the fact that she was YT, which might be part of the reason why she was interested, because she said, not on my watch, you feel me? But once we started seeing each other, one day we were just outside together. And I don't remember exactly what happened, but something happened where she just made like a snide remark about a YT person. And I was just like, oh, that was unwarranted. And she was like, oh, I forgot who I was talking to. I was like, what?
So, can I ask a question?
Yeah, no, I agree.
Are you serious? She said that.
You can ask a question, but I'm in the middle of talking. All right. Yes, you can ask a question. Right, but I'm not done with the point. This is why she told you to be quiet, dog. You good? I'm just saying. I'm not mad. If I ever get mad at anybody, I'll just drop you. Right. But it's literally, I'm saying, you started snapping at Frog, and this is why she even said something to you. Because literally, it went from her making a snide remark to me saying, hey, why are you speaking like that? To her turning it back around. I forgot who I was talking to, Mr. I date YT women. And yeah, I forgot. I don't even know. This might not even work because you're not going to be talking to me all types of ways like you talk to your little YT girlfriends. And you might think you rushed it over here. And I don't even know how me and you ended up in this far with the fact you like YT women. And I hadn't said nothing else other than why you said that slightly out of pocket. And this whole conversation happened right after. Not even conversation. Berating happened. And I'm just sitting there like, who the fuck hurt you, dog? And so that's why I say some of them, it comes from a past experience where I can understand where BLK men might be like, oh, I like her better because of X, Y, and Z. And whatever that X, Y, and Z is, hit personally. So now they're just harboring that and thinking that any BOK man who's not with a BOK woman is because he's thinking the same way. And she even told me she had personal experiences with men in her own family talking down on BOK women once they dated a YT woman. And I'm just like, dog, I dated YT women because they were around in plethora. Since I've moved, I haven't looked back, dog. Like, what are we talking about? And it's not because anybody was better. I just didn't like none of the ones around me.
No, I feel that. And I have a similar story really quickly. I was dating this girl and she asked me about who I dated in the past and I told her she was Vietnamese. And then later that night I paid her a compliment and she's like, this ain't no Banh Mi. And I was like, what?
Oh my goodness.
I know. I was like, that's a little call for, you know what I'm saying? Like, just take the compliment a little. Yeah, obviously a lot, but it was funny. It was funny actually. Like it wasn't like I don't think she meant bad by it, but it was just like the idea that I dated one person, so now that's my type. You know, it
just triggered her. Like, oh, I forgot you like YT women.
Exactly. Yeah.
What?
And it's like I had an ex before that was black. So what are we doing?
That's what I'm saying. It's like, you're my girlfriend now. Clearly, I don't only like white tea women. Like, what are we talking about?
Exactly.
Alright, is there a reason, like any type of reason, but is there a reason that a black man can give for him to date outside his race? Or does it have to be just
There's no reason, bro. There's no reason. They're gonna find a way. Like, black women just don't like the side of it. They feel like the white woman is taking their man, you know?
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, what's your question, Clyde?
Do you? My question is, like, do you think? Because I heard what you said up there above. Do you think that black women don't like this because their lack of options?
And no, that's what I was saying earlier. A lot of it, that's why I said it's two different things. I believe part of it is like a lot of the BLK women who came on here and said, it's not about not liking it. It's about them talking down on it. And for the ones who have experienced that, I feel like some of them have personalized and internalized it. But also, I'm going to say that some of them probably really were berated. There was a BLK woman on here earlier who said, in my personal experience, white tea men have treated me, and I'm married to a white tea man because all of the BLK men I was involved with, they weren't cutting it for me. You feel me? So I believe it's seeing that and internalizing it. Baby girl didn't feel like she had internalized it to a point of disliking BLK men completely. She just said, I'm going to do something different. You feel where for some BLK men, women feel as if not only do they do something different, but they berate them for not being like the counterpart. Or they'll say white tea women do X, Y, and Z, and BLK women don't do this at all. You feel me? Is once you start comparing them. And I feel like some of them, once they hear that comparison, part of it is internalized and they harbor it, meaning that this is how BLK men are thinking about me. And that's not always the case. And I'm going to say for me personally, it has never been about race. Like, for the woman I was with, she figured that I liked white tea women better because they were more docile. I could be more dominant and control situations. Bro, what? I guess, like, if that's your interpretation.
Is that like an automatic?
That was her thought process on it. You feel me?
I mean, that's what I'm asking ladies on here. Is that like an automatic when you see a black man with another woman, another race, that kind of an automatic? Oh, he just want her because she's, how'd you put it, host?
Docile.
Docile.
Like in a way that like black women are painted as like more aggressive.
No, just as simple as the women that say they don't like this behavior. When you see a black man and another race of women, pick the race that you want to. Is it an automatic thought in your head? Oh, he only wants her because she's more docile.
I'll be honest. Obviously, I'm not black, so I personally can't answer that. But I've had a black man tell me before that he thought, and this was from his perspective, I don't agree with it, but that he thought that women other than black women are more appeasing to men.
Yeah, I've heard that. Like, you need 10,000 lashes for that comment. He tweeted.
Define appeasing, right? Because appeasing can kind of mean some things, and we know we use colloquialisms too. So can you define what it by appeasing?
Pleasing. A pleaser. Pleasing.
Pleasing. Oh, I thought you said appeasing.
No, I did say appeasing.
Oh.
Like they're more eager to appease you. Like if there's something you need or you want, they're more willing to do it and cater to you and make sure you're good.
I really don't agree with that.
I mean, appeasing and submissive is not the same because submissive is just saying yes sometimes. You feel me? Appeasing is there something I can do for you? Do you need anything? You feel me? Looking to be of assistance is what I look at as appeasing. Submissive means I say it, you do it.
I mean, y'all think that's a good quality for a wife?
Appeasing? Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Make sure I'm good.
I don't understand so like with that whole mentality of a white woman will be more appeasing and a black woman is they're more aggressive or less appealing. Like, would that make them wrong for choosing a white woman? I don't agree with the statement.
I don't agree with that statement. I don't think he put that in the right words.
Oh, I mean, no, because someone said like, oh.
You don't think you put what in the right words?
Women are more aggressive, right? Like that's one of the like stereotypes, and like, they're with the white woman because she's more.
Well, speaking of stereotype, you believe that black women's social image is attractive to the average man?
If a black woman's social image is more attractive,
the social image. Do you think black? Because you said something about
okay, hold on. Right? What do you refer to like a social image? Like
social image. What is the stereotypes of black women, and do you think that's appeasing to the average man?
No.
I think so.
Yeah. He's saying the stereotypes.
And so this is look. This is what I'm gonna say. When I think of social image, I think of media and what is readily presented in the media. So magazines, books, TV shows.
Yeah, I still agree. They want the full lips. They want full lips.
He didn't say aesthetic. You going off a visual, dog.
But that is part of the stereotype they give them. That big booty, big lip. They do give them that stereotype. Yeah, for sure.
And I'm just saying, you're speaking on the aesthetic. I'm not telling you you're wrong, but there are two parts of it. There's the image, and then there's also the characteristics and behaviors.
Yeah, no, saying like, well, the social image, right? So again, we have to refer to stereotypes. Are black women's stereotypes more appealing to men than a white woman's stereotype? And I don't think
he didn't say white teen women. He just said this was dude's question. He said very simply, do you guys think that the social image of BLK is appealing to mass races?
No.
So image.
No, simple as that. No.
I'm 50-50. I say physical appearance, yes. Characteristics like attitude wise, no.
I agree on that.
I'm gonna say opinion too. I just think it's so sad. It really breaks my heart that individually women are grouped by whatever the fuck. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many black women who aren't the stereotypes.
I agree too. That's for sure true. But the thing is, you have to realize stereotypes aren't made from thin air. Like,
can we answer the question before we divert?
I already answered the question.
There are more people than just you.
The lady answer.
They're made from white supremacy.
Yeah, no, I will say that it's definitely like sad that the media presence of black women is like negative towards men. I do believe that. Not the fact that I think that that's a good thing.
So Mrs. Mom Premier is saying, explain what the image is. When we're talking about a social image, we're going to look at the way society has painted this. And one of the easiest ways to do this is to look at the representations of people in magazines and TV and radio and music and the media, because that is all social things. And in order for them to be broadcasted, they have to be accepted as the norm. You feel me? So whatever that means to you, Mrs. Mom Premier, whether you want to go off of the Zeus network or if you want to go off of PBS, whatever you see BLK women being represented in.
So growing up for me, right, and I'm 37, I just want to say really quick, when I think of black women, I think of Lisa Turtle from Saved by the Bell. I think of Ashley Banks. I
was just about to say that.
I think of Brandy, Monica.
That's the dominant narrative about black women right now. That's the dominant narrative.
I'm looking at the black women of the media. What we got right now.
And, all right, and so now that we have the picture painted, everybody answer the question who has not answered.
All these women want to be on, cuz.
Dog, Billy. Let everybody answer. You feel me? Billy and Crossley, you guys are good to talk, but everyone answered his question. Do you think that the social image is acceptable or attractive to multiple races? Like, everyone, yes or no, dog?
I would say no, but that's also by design and intentional. So it's not like, and it doesn't speak to the actual population. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
that's a full answer. Yes or no. You gave a reason why. I'm not trying to be rude and short and cut people off. I want everyone to answer.
All right, Dan, I don't think you answered. Honestly, yes.
Slim.
All right, and the Slam.
I'm still trying to understand what do you mean by the image? Like what we see on TV?
Yes, social media, any type. And when I said social media, I'm not just talking about apps like Twitter and stuff. Anything that is a representation of people, TV shows, theater, music, the media, what you see in the media of BLK women.
I think the question should be worded a little differently.
Like stereotypes. That's
What is the dominant narrative when
What stereotype are you talking about? City girls?
Whatever you are thinking about, what pops into your head? It's a personal question because I might not watch TV at all. So my media is not going to be the same as your media, dog. It is a personal question. You feel me? So it's like, what media do you consume where you get to see BLK women? Answer that in your head. What media do you watch and see where you get to see BLK women? What do you listen to that is the conversation of BLK women? Whether it's a tabloid, whether it's a news channel, whether it's a podcast. Just think of the last 10 times you've seen BLK women not in person. The conversation, the rhetoric, the mannerisms, the behavior. Do you believe they are socially accepted and wanted by all races?
No.
Next person.
Okay, no, I think we actually got everybody's answer.
Oh, so if you steal my question and make a laugh about it, I want my residuals.
Silly.
All right, Vicky, that's the whole panel.
But does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah.
I think a lot of people answer that because we're afraid to address the elephant in the room.
And that's really what I feel like it is because they're like, well, we're talking about the social representation. Are we talking about like what we see on TV or what I see when I talk to my friends? Dog, not everybody gets to see your friends, but everybody's watching TV. People who've never interacted with Black women are watching what is perpetuated. People who've never seen a Black woman in real life are looking at podcasts. You feel me? They're looking at what's on Instagram. They're looking at what the non-famous BLK women are doing on the platforms where they can see them. And the vice versa for the men as well. Somebody said in the comments, well, what about the negative stereotypes about the men? We can address those too, but we cannot get to all of the problems if we don't start picking apart one at a time. As soon as you bring up one flaw, it's about the other side. All right, we're not going to fix nothing if we just start pointing fingers, dog.
Right.
The stereotypes for men and women.
Black man's social image is terrible. It's terrible. It's terrible.
Why you say it like that, bro?
Our social image is fucking terrible.
Because it is, dog.
Because it is. For Black women and for Black men, it is absolutely horrible. He is right. He's definitely right. It is horrible.
I wouldn't say that though. I'll say there's two different types of black male images. I feel like there's, the hood Black image, and then there's the successful sports player type of Black image. I feel like there's two different types.
I'm going to say this, regardless of whether you fit into it, you just said successful athlete. You feel me? A lot of people assume athletes are just stupid. So there's also just that idea that you're not very bright.
I mean, I don't think athletes have to be unintelligent.
I didn't say that they're stupid. I said it's a preconceived notion.
You said other people, right? You said other people.
Dog, they told LeBron James to shut up and dunk the ball. You feel me? Literally, like.
He's also a multi-billionaire, though.
From what? Playing basketball. Bro, again, you're not listening. I'm not saying this is how I personally feel. But there are plenty of people who believe that if you had better skills, you would have used your head instead of your legs. So you must be dumb.
See, but that's what I talk about when they talk about the social image. Athletes, they don't, that don't matter. When I say social image, some of the dominant narratives about Black men is we don't take care of our kids, we're in and out of jail, we can't hold a job, and we know statistics would debunk all this, but yet it's still somehow our social image. So I'm not saying it's right, But a lot of these stereotypes have shaped our social image to the normal person to look at black men and say, "What the hell? Them jokers don't do nothing."
You know, but
That's just our social image.
honestly,
It's
I
fucked up. Yeah,
but
it
I don't
is.
see for white women. Well, another stereotype is, well, black men are more aggressive and dominant, and I think white women find that attractive, and that's the appeal to black men.
I don't know. Ain't nobody. Middle Eastern men are dominant. I'm just saying.
But yeah,
Hispanic men are. That's what I mean. Stereotypes are so silly.
they're asinine, low key. Like,
I didn't realize you had a
yeah,
decent
at the end
amount
of
of
the day,
people.
stereotypes are going to be stereotypes, or whether it's harmful or not. You know.
Yeah.
Well, I believe that stereotypes are more harmful than they're not. That's like a whole other conversation.
Does anybody want to drop real quick? I got 2 people requesting, and I'll bring you back. Just stick around.
I drop for you, homie.
Just request back up in a minute. I'll bring you back.
All right, you wanna be easy.
Me too.
Kayla, Valley, what's good?
Hello.
Hey.
Oh, you guys want to chime in on something you heard, or did you just want to answer the prompts?
Kind of both, but I'll let Valley go first because she was up first.
Okay, lovely. Thank you. Yeah, so I can just kind of, well, I can only speak from my perspective. I am married to a man that's white and Puerto Rican. So I did, I guess, marry and date outside of my race. I just think when it comes to like the idea that black women hate when black men date outside their race, it's not that. It's just there's always a comparison. It's never like, rarely do you hear, at least in the media, men saying that, well, black men saying that, oh, they dated this person because they just happened to fall in love with this person. That's not really what you hear. It's, oh, they're better, they listen, they don't argue. Like basically all the negative stereotypes that black women have is what they use to describe, you know, reasons for why they chose to date someone else.
Can I ask a question? I just not thought about this.
Mm-hmm.
Why do people get upset about someone voicing their personal opinion on a personal experience?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Like I would probably say like
I'm getting a
probably
phone
like
call.
an insecure kind of problem.
Can I
Like,
speak
because
now?
I don't feel comfortable in this situation. Like I believe that your personal experience like is invalid. You know.
No, for sure. And that's what I was pretty much just thinking. Like, actually saying that, I'm not negating it at all. And I've seen it. And it was just like, why is the first point to get upset when this is someone telling you that this is their personal experience? In their experience, every person that was BLK treated them this way. And now they're with this, like they haven't dated every BLK person and they haven't dated every YT person. So let them have their opinion.
Opinions is it doesn't reflect the majority. That's really what the problem is.
Hello?
Hey, Chuck.
What's up?
Hello?
Yeah.
Hey, do you remember that producer Frobby?
Yeah.
So he passed away. I think he OD'd.
Oh, shit.
So I was trying to figure out, like, because I think that day, that tablet that we're using for the footage, because I want to do something for Turn It Up. I literally had to reboot that whole tablet. So I think I lost, like, everything that day, I think.
All right.
Did you save anything or from that day? Like the footage? I know it was so long ago.
You deleted everything, dog.
So that means it was a tablet. That means it was gone then. Because that tablet got locked me out.
Well, I'm saying you're asking if I saved anything.
Well, because the tablet was hooked up to your iCloud, right?
And that's what I'm saying. So
the first chance they get, they go with the woman, a woman brighter than the stars in the sky tonight. So it's like, hey, we get much hate from them too. So it's like, hey, go where your love. Race does not matter. Go where your love, not where you want to go. But yeah, that's about it.
You know what's crazy to me is that every single Black woman that's come up here and answered these questions, with the first question is the Black men belittle them to the other women. And that's crazy because that's horrible.
You straight up. Let me get you never seen that? You never seen that?
This is something that I have to say. Once I finish real quick, because I was saying while you were talking, Alexis, like, you can't say every, because I've dated plenty of white tea women. I have never fixed my mouth to say I prefer white. How? You haven't even talked to me for 10 minutes. I've been on mute this whole time. This is exactly why some of them feel this way. And so, no, you said that Black dudes who date white tea women always talk down and always belittle. You did, because that's why I started talking. I literally was like, you cannot say all, because I have never fixed my mouth to say, oh, my white tea girl did this and my BLK girlfriend did not do this. I've never done that. You feel me? And this is why I disagree. And again, I just told you I disagree. The reason I even started talking is because of what you said. I wouldn't be speaking on this if you did not say all. You feel me? So might not have been what you meant. Fine. I'm not upset. I'm just saying you cannot say all, and that is not always the case. But in multiple situations, having a conversation with the BLK woman about this topic, the first thing she jumped at is comparisons that happen. Like, oh, you date white tea women, all right, better do that. And I'm like, why? Because they're always talking down or comparing. But I'm like, I didn't compare anything. You just found out that I even entertain white tea women. So how did I disrespect you and talk down on you, comparing them to you, when you just found out that I even have dated them? And also, with that being said, you talk about, I could tell, I don't date white women no more. I don't really like them that much no more when it comes to being in a relationship. It don't feel right.
Well, congrats on making it out.
I don't need no congratulations. People are people. But this is what I'll say. Somebody else said it. It's just like certain things, certain conversations, certain cultural, they don't get it. They don't get it. They might never get it. And I don't feel like explaining it.
Okay. Why do Black women hate Black men who date outside of race? Me personally, I went to the most diverse school in the country and the biggest high school in my state. Soon as these men, once again, this is going to be said, it's like they're like, I'm leaving, but I want you to know that I'm leaving. Oh, you're not going to stop me from leaving? It's like they want us to be an unsolicited throuple in their relationship. We didn't ask to be a throuple in a relationship, but they have us in their relationship because we can tell how we can tell when a BLK men date white girls, we can tell when a white girl dates Black men because they take on the aesthetics of a Black woman, bonnet, even if it's negative stereotypes, we can see it. Okay, do white men treat? Wait, let me finish answering my question before you do your ad-libs. Thank you. Do white men treat Black women better? Now, when I was younger, I did go through a stage where I did date them. Me personally, I don't think they treat us better. I just think because their culture is different than the Black culture, you just have a different experience. So sometimes they do, because it's a new experience for you, sometimes they do feel like it's better. But once the smoke mirrors is done, you realize, hold up, it ain't that much better. The thing with when you're dealing with white men for Black women who never date them, just because a white person likes you does not mean they respect and like your culture. This is what
that's what I'm saying. There's certain things that they just won't understand or don't understand or care to understand.
Wait, hold on, and then I'm gonna finish. So, like for me, during 2020, I was with a white person. I went to school with him and stuff, and during the whole the political era, I realized, hold up, he's saying the little things that I'm kind of offensive to. Like, hold up, you ain't gonna talk about my people like that, period. So I think just people gotta realize when you are dating outside your race, you have to have a strong
stance when it comes to your culture. If not, you're going to allow them to walk over boundaries. You're going to allow them to say the N-word. Oh, it's not that deep. You're going to allow them to just take on cultural stuff that usually people like to protect. Now, lastly, does race matter in dating? Race absolutely matters in dating. People forget when you are procreating with different races, you must know their culture, they must know your culture. If not, you're going to have all these people on TikTok saying they was too black for the white kids and too white for the black kids because they going to have identity issues. So race will always matter when you're dating, especially when you live in the U.S., because this country is built off racism. So race will always matter because you need to know that culture and you need to know your culture. Like my man is Moroccan. I'm from a Muslim city. So for me, if he have any cultural stuff, I already know the culture. So we don't really have like big disagreements. He's Muslim, etc. I know the culture already. So race will always matter because when it comes to race, race is attached to a culture. So it will always matter.
Some of us do have experienced the culture though, because from when I was 14 to 18, my foster mother was a black woman. And that was, the most impressionable years of my life. And I've seen the struggles that black women have to go through with society and how their own people and other people treat them. As far as why do black women hate black men who date out of their race, I don't think all black women think like that, but I can understand where they'd be upset because the fact that it's so hard for society in today's way that, especially today's youth, are brought up to treat each other, let alone a man treating another, a woman of his own race with as much respect as he does another race, out of trying to show some kind of way of being. Now, if he treats all women the same way, then that's a different thing, but you should treat everybody equally, regardless of what. But unfortunately, that's not the truth. And a lot of black men who date outside of the race are doing it for a social status or because they can't handle the strength of a black woman. And black women have to be strong and the head of their households because of the way society makes it like that for them, to where they have no choice. And the way they get treated by their own kind, and even some white men, I've seen white men treat black women just as bad as they do anybody else. And then there's white men who, because they respect the black woman, who worship the ground they walk on. And sometimes black women deserve that. They deserve to be treated like that because of not just by what they've went through history, but all over the world, the black woman is the most shunned person, most shunned race, and they have to be as strong as they can be. And a lot of times, unfortunately, they're raising other, black men themselves, and so they have to show strength.
All right. You're getting a little rambly.
Can I say something?
Wait, let her finish.
For a minute. I was here before her, but
okay.
Sure. 1 second. So for people who aren't here, I try to get through all the questions first. If it's like one quick interjection or something to say, I let it happen. But I just want as quick and concisely as possible, answer the points, and then we can break into them further. So once you answer
About whether race matters.
yeah, and then Big Ugg, you can answer or say whatever you wanted to say.
The race matters. It's if you have a belief and knowledge of the other person's culture, then yeah, it shouldn't matter. But if you are not anyway learning or know anything about the other culture, it can cause conflict. So if you're of the same culture, if you know the other culture, like I said, I raised up by a black woman, was around, that culture all my life. So therefore I choose to date black men only because that's what I relate to. Not because of any kind of particular reason. It's just what I grew up knowing.
Okay. Big Ugg.
yeah, I just want to chime in. It ain't so much of a hate thing, like they said, it's more so like of a jealousy thing, especially if the black man is successful. They don't really have a problem with the black man, he's whatever, don't really really not successful, they really don't trip on that, you know. And like I say, I'm from Chicago, which is like the most segregated city in the country. You know, you got different ethnic groups in different neighborhoods, but if you go in our downtown area, it's really diverse. And you would have no problem with, you know, you dating somebody or meeting somebody outside your race. And I also have property in a small town where maybe like 5% black men and the majority are white. So a lot of the guys do, you know, mess with white women, and not the same way with far as with black women, just go out and not that many black men, so they end up dating bad, just like black men. You know, from being married to a white woman, but she never took a jab at come out for being married to a white man. You know, it's like it's crazy. You know, and then when I see a lot of like my white friends or even professional white men, when they tend to do date a black woman, like the lady that was here before, but she dropped out, they tend to date darker women, more natural, with an afro or just braids. They really don't see them with the women with the hair,
lace fronts.
Yeah, fake hair and all of that. You don't see them with that. You see them with a woman with a natural afro puffs, you know, no makeup, no eyelashes, and they would love her to death, treat her like a queen, because that's like exotic to them. You know, they don't really want to date nobody opposed to trying to be like their women. So women, we are like the only exotic person down here, you know, because our hair is the only one is like that. So I don't really get that. You know, women should just stay in their natural state, and people respect that because you're exotic. You know,
all right, big God. Let's just answer the questions directly.
I did answer that. I was like, it wasn't no more like a hate.
All three of them?
Let me go next after a big Ugg.
I don't got my glasses on, but
Do white men treat black women better?
Thank you. The next question, Big Ugg, was does race matter in dating?
No, it doesn't. You know, you love who you want to love. You know, that's how life is. You know, you might fall in love with an Asian, a Mexican, an Indian, or whatever. You know, if y'all equally yoked, you know, that's just how life goes. You know, like I said, in the small town I'm in, you know, people, it's not about race. It's a small amount of certain type of people, and then you end up with a white woman, and some of the black women end up with a white man. You know, and it's just how it is.
All right, cool. Go ahead, Pookie.
I land my plane.
Pick up yourself.
All right. Wait. Let me see the questions one more time. All right.
I'm sorry, honey. I was actually next, Kelly. I've been up here twice. I keep you.
Oh, I thought you had an echo problem. Sorry.
No, that wasn't me. It was the other young lady who was echoing.
Okay, my bad, babe.
No worries. Why do black women hate black men who date outside their race? A lot of black women don't hate that. The only thing that, and it's been shared multiple times, but I'll just reiterate it, the only part that we hate about that is when we're put down second class or inferior. If the man isn't moving about like that, most of us women don't care. So that's that part. The second one, do white men treat black women better? I'm not capping Rainbow. This is my opinion, and I don't care. But however, I don't know. I haven't experienced a white man, so I can't tell you about that. And three, I don't think race matters in dating so much, but I think it comes down to a matter of children. I am around friends who have multicultural children, and they often have a hard time finding their place in their social groups, especially if their features lean one way or another. So, you know, that's the ultimate thing I see in terms of it with dating. That's when it moves into having children. But dating otherwise, if you're just dating to get experience of another culture or relationship or whatnot, then, you know, it doesn't matter.
Beautiful. Pookie, you next.
Actually, no, Rambo's been here. He dropped and came back.
Oh, Rambo.
Okay, so why do black women hate black men who hate outside the race? I would agree with the last woman that most actually don't care. They're too busy, trying to win or lose to really care about that. So, but there is a significant number that do care. Most don't care, but there are some that do care. And oh man, the looks, the stares, the comments. I had a woman actually tell me one time. I told her, like, I dated white women before. She goes, oh, I would never date you. Date a black man who would ever date a white woman before. And then wouldn't talk to me anymore. I thought it was funny. Like, man, she said she seemed like a lunatic. And if you got that type of hate and bitterness in your heart, I don't want nothing to do with you anyways, man. That's too heavy a burden to be carried around. So to say, like, women, there's no women like that. It's a lot of women like this. A lot. Probably maybe 10, 15%, maybe 20%. I don't know. It's high, though. It's higher than it should be. And part of it, too, like, we got to be real. Like, these racial dynamics, black women have always been at the bottom of the totem pole. Like, this is real in the social hierarchy in a lot of ways. And, they got to compete with white women. And black women have this amazing hair. And, like, Louisiana.
And you want to keep to the questions because you deviate a lot.
Well, my point is that there's this Miss Anne syndrome, or this myth of white womanhood, where black women have this competition with white women. And so when they see black men with white women, it ain't just like black men are simply dating white women. It's this whole history behind it that rightfully angers a lot of women. So, I don't even charge them up as necessarily being wrong or dumb or, I get it, but it's just not healthy. That's a different way to look at it. Number two, what's the number two side?
Do white tea men treat black women better?
I used to think they probably did just because, they got higher marriage rates. They're in the home more. But white women quickly erase that from my mind by checking me and going, Rambo, that ain't true at all. I date no white men, and they don't treat us better than black men. I can guarantee that. I mean, no white woman has ever told me that white men treat them better than black men. And black women, I don't really never asked black women that question before, but I don't think they did. But I think here's the issue. I think that, a lot of black men will say this, well, black women won't submit to black men, but they'll submit to white men. And me being an OG and a player in the game, I know it don't work like that. See, what happens is the type of submissive black women are generally the type of women that marriage-minded white men will only marry. They're not going to marry some unruly, mouthy woman who wants to be argumentative, wants to fight, and a family destroyer. He will only marry a woman who's submissive. So if he finds a black submissive woman and he's smart, he can't go and turn her down because she's black, right? So that's who they do real well with. Just like all men. Like all men do real well with these wifey types that want to be a great wife and know how to collaborate and cooperate and just be submissive in the marriage, just like he needs to be submissive in the marriage. And so I think that's probably the difference. And then does it matter? Does race matter? I think that lady was on earlier, she summed it up. Just kind of depends. If your color struck like a woman who told me, if you ever date a white woman, I would never date you. Well, race really matters to her. But if you're healthy-minded, you know how hard marriage is, right? Like if you got a kid and you want your kid, you don't want your daughter or your son get divorced, and you want some great kids raised in an intact family, man, you better put skin color on the back of the list because it's too easy to get that wrong, man. The divorce rate is high. So I would say ultimately, if you want a loving and long-lasting marriage, race don't matter. Be happy with what you get, and you're gonna have to settle and just go where you're celebrating.
No, for sure.
All right, Pokey.
All right. Number one, why do black women hate black men who date outside of race? I don't think they really care, but if they did care, and this goes for every race, it'd either be cultural or jealousy. 2, do you think men treat black women better? I think all men are treated the same. It just depends on the attitude and how you hold yourself You know what I'm saying? It goes for both races too. No one wants to be around an asshole as guy or girl, you know what I'm saying? And 3, does race matter in dating? It only matters in dating if you make it matter in the relationship. It goes for both. If you want to teach your other lover culture that you care about, then go ahead. But it only matters if you want it to matter in the relationship.
Okay.
Wow.
Oh, did everybody answer?
Yep, we did.
All right.
No, yeah, didn't answer. Or, yeah.
Oh yeah, no, yeah is new.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for letting me out. I just want to say to number one, we're not jealous, we're not mad, we're not bitter. It's just that we deal with a lot of disrespect coming from experience, and especially from the women in my family and myself. We've had black men around us that dated white women, and they literally like treated them better. They let them disrespect us. Like multiple times do we get called out of our names by these white tea women because they're literally like praising these people and making them feel like they're better than us. They give them that power. So it's not about white tea people and what white tea people doing. It's about us allowing them this power, you know? So I don't think that we're mad. We don't hate that y'all did all y'all race. We hate that y'all get with these people.
All right, so right now I'm in the work outfit. Just got done doing, well, not even just got done. For the last 2 hours, I've been going live on TikTok right here. And then we got that set up to restream just like I did earlier for the just talking head videos. And now I'm about to go ahead and get ready to edit some videos from yesterday so I can have my uploads ready for the rest of the month. Essentially, I'm going to keep this running and I'm just going to sit it next to me while I'm at the computer and let it do its thing. I'm going to chime in here and there, but I'm going to keep the live running while I'm working before we head out to the studio. And I'm still going strong off of just my tea and my coffee earlier. It's 3:57. You feel me? 4 o'clock in the day. We started the day at 6:30 a.m. Let's keep it going.
I've seen for experience, like my uncle dated a white woman, and she called my grandma an NB, an N with the ERB word.
All right, yeah.
No, I'm just saying, like that's the experience. Like
I'm not telling you're wrong, but you told us why, and you're giving us more examples about why. You feel me? We can move on to number 2.
It's evil. That's evil towards.
I'm not disagreeing. I'm not disagreeing with you. Yeah. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm asking you to answer the rest of the questions. That's it.
And number 3, it does not matter. It just matters because it's like those are the only people that are. Foreigners are the main ones that are like going out of their way to show us that we matter. So it doesn't matter. But like everybody been saying, you go where you love. And if we're not being respected, then of course we're not gonna just, like stay around. And I've seen a lot of women say, I'd rather stay with a black man than let him beat on me. Like, you sound dumb. That's closed-minded. Like, no. Open up your mind, open up your heart, because love does not have a color. So you gotta, be more open towards opportunities.
But do you think it's fair to say that a lot of the women who feel some type of way or get upset about BLK men who date outside of their race is because they've had a negative experience with someone else saying something to them?
Yes, and mostly it be from your own family. Like, you have the men in your family showing you these examples. So then you grow up in the first, like, that's how I was. Like, I grew up dealing with, like, that kind of example, and it was not a good example. So, like, that made me not even want to, like, have interest in my own people, because it's like, dang, this is who I'm coming from. My own family is like this.
All right. With that being said, listen. Hold up. With that being said, do you not think you're doing a disservice? Or it's like pretty much that's the same as a prejudiced person. You feel me? It's like when I was younger, I watched my dad have a BOK man cheat him out of his change at the gas station. For that reason, I no longer do business with BOK people.
I don't know, because I've seen it also as an adult. Like, I just see a lot of disrespect towards, from black men towards black women. You see them getting like so much hate. It's just so much judgment. There's always something wrong with us.
And again, I'm asking this question like this for a reason, because what you just said is, I had an experience, and I'm not saying you didn't have multiple, and I'm not saying it's invalid. I'm just saying you're taking this now and saying that from my personal experience with people in my family acting this way, every time I see a BLK person I don't even know, I'm now slightly disgusted or thinking that they're thinking the same way.
No.
That
when I see interracial relationships, it actually make me happy.
All
I
right.
love to see that.
All right.
I don't have anything against it. It's beautiful. And I feel like, if I have a mixed baby, my baby gonna be beautiful. So I put myself in their shoes. I'm not saying that because of that one experience or my past experience, that's why. I'm just saying, I'm giving you guys an example, so you can't say have you experienced it, or you haven't experienced it, so you can't really speak on it. I'm letting y'all know that this is reality. This is reality, and this is what's going on. So from my experience and what's going on in the real world, like, open up your eyes and really pay attention, then you wouldn't think that women are just being hateful or they're being bitter.
And no, I'm not saying that they are just being hateful or just being bitter. Because even for myself personally, that is something that I don't know if you were probably here. You've been here in a minute. I've seen you in the comments. For a minute. But I was saying, I dated a BLK woman from Louisiana who brought up the fact that I dated white women and said she couldn't believe she was even involved with me. I did not compare her. I didn't say the white tea girl did anything better. You feel me?
That's her feeling the way she felt.
Exactly. But listen. And so as we got into the conversation, she was like, yeah, because they always comparing them or saying they do this better or they hair. And I'm like, I ain't never said nothing to you like that. Yeah, but I've heard it. And I'm like, from who? People like,
she was wrong because
listen! Please listen. I hear you. I'm not done. I talked to Lise. And so, like you were saying, though, as I asked more questions, she said, I've seen it from my own family. And that's when I said, it makes more sense now. But you're now internalizing something and holding other people accountable for it. Like, yes, your feelings was hurt, and yes, they said something dumb. But now you're assuming that everybody who does this one thing is thinking like that one person because it was someone in your family. Your family is not the only people in the world.
Not every black woman is like that. That's not our argument.
No, I understand. I'm just saying that a lot of people get on here and say that they don't care, or they say that it's not because of a certain reason. I'm not saying it is, but I'm saying for a lot of the people who do care, from what you just said about seeing it firsthand in family experience is reminding me of someone else saying they saw a family experience, and that has made that projection valid.
No, because she was still wrong for how she came at you, because she put you in that situation.
And I'm not asking that. I knew that from the jump, which is why I didn't say nothing to her.
I
Literally.
have a question for you guys. Do you guys think when it comes to relationships that black people are harder and judge harder when it comes to black people, like with each other? You guys think you guys are harder on each other?
Somebody already was saying that. I think Josiah.
That's because we expect a lot out of each other. That's all it is. But we hold high standards because, we love our people. But, it's just, that's still kind of like being closed-minded because you're still, judging us too. We go through a lot from our own people a lot.
Well, I think it's just natural for people to judge people. You know what I mean?
I got a question for Jules.
I want to ask a question. Can I explain why black men troll black women about white women? Because I
wanted to share something with you, Rambo, really quick, if I could, before you do that and move.
Because y'all want us to be jealous and we're not.
I just wanted to address something really quick with you, Rambo. As I was sharing my perspective, in the comments you were saying I'm lying, and then you said I cleaned up my fib. What I said to you was that it's true. A lot of black women don't hate black men who date outside their race. We don't like the men who belittle us when they do it. So there was no lie at all.
Secondly, I'm correct in saying most women don't care next to that. So long as you're not disrespecting me because of your choice, and unfortunately, I'm sorry that you lump Black women in to that.
And so can I tell you something really quick, speaker? So you over here saying that most of them don't care or that they don't care is also lumping them all into a group. You feel me? You can say you don't care and that you don't think that they care. He can say that he thinks that they care because we all don't know all of the people.
Be a liar.
That part, all right, cool. Address it. You feel me? And if you're not a liar, you're not a liar. I'm just saying that other people have also said you can't say that they care or you can't say that they don't care. All I can tell you is what I think. You feel me?
Yo, Jules, so how did you find out you're dating a white woman?
Hold on. What he said was white men don't care. And I'm in the chat just like give it smoke. Don't take that serious, okay? But when you say like Black women don't care, you kind of do it as make it like with a white brush. That's why I said I didn't say you were lying. I said you was
no. I was saying most women.
And then you later on said
women.
No,
what I said was the women who care the most are the women that you downput. I'm not talking about it as in terms of it being a thing because the problem is very clear. It says hate. That's a very strong word.
On purpose.
And I was saying, and I get it. I respect it.
Some do hate, though. There's a lot that do hate.
And we're not
right. But my point is that he said in his prompt, he said, why do Black women? Not some Black women, not most Black women. And so my response and rebuttal is to that. Most Black women don't hate Black men for dating outside of their race. I was responding to the prompt specifically. His prompt is saying all without saying all because he didn't specify some or most.
Let me say this real quick. That's not what it's I'm gonna give me 30 seconds.
All right, look, we don't need to argue about what the question is. We all can see the question, and she just said her piece, so that's her piece. We don't got to argue with that neither.
Jeez. Whose turn is it? Whose turn is it next?
Yeah, it should be. I have a question. I still have a question. So, how did she find out that you were dating a white woman?
Oh no, bro, I was dating her.
Yeah, no. Okay, so you were dating her. How did she find out your ex was a white woman?
First off, when we met, in the first couple of months of us meeting, I was seeing somebody else. We worked together, essentially. I'm an actor. You feel me? I'm an actor. We were on the show together. My, not girlfriend, but the woman I was seeing at the time came to opening night. It was a white woman, right? Moving forward, me and the girl in the play started seeing each other. Baby girl got tucked to the side. So she knew already. Before we even got involved all the way, she already knew that I had entertained dating a white girl. You feel me? And then just moving forward, where I'm from Ohio. There's hella white tea people. I probably told her that I had dated. I don't remember, dog. But we were just in a grocery store. She said something like slick or like, it was actually kind of rude. And it was in terms to a white person. And I was just like, what? That was kind of out of pocket. And she was like, man, fuck her. And I was like, damn, you rude. And she was like, oh, I forgot. You like white people. And I was like, huh? You feel me? And then it just became a whole rant.
Oh, you didn't even catch that microaggression. Damn.
But you told her about your ex.
And high, damn, homie.
What?
But you told her about
that microaggression.
Bro, I told you, she saw the girl I was seeing before me and her started dating. She didn't have to ask me.
Okay. Jealousy.
And this is another reason why Speaker and Yeye, I be asking, because like a lot of people will say it's because of men talking down on them or because they always talk down on them. And that's the thing. I can't say that they don't typically. I won't. I'll say for me personally, I have never been in a circle of men, Black men, who were sitting there comparing any other race of women to what type of treatment they got from BLK women, or saying that BLK women like.
We don't sit around and bring it up.
Are you in those circles?
Bro, I hang out with BLK men on a regular basis. What are you talking about? Like, my cousins is Black, dog. My brothers is Black. So it's like I have never been in a group of Black men who sat there and talked down on Black women while comparing them to another sect of women or race. I've never seen it. I'm not going to say it doesn't happen or it doesn't exist, because I've seen on the internet a nigga be like, oh no, I like white girls better, or I like Spanish women. They treat me better. I've heard it, but I've never been a part of one of those conversations.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Why did it offend you that she said anything about the white girl? Like, why did it offend you?
Because being rude is being rude. I didn't argue with her. I don't argue with anybody. I said, whoa, that was kind of rude. And she said, what? And I was like, what you just said? And she said, okay. And I was like, oh shit, it's a stranger. You feel me? I'm a very polite person. You feel me? I'm a nice person. So anybody being rude, period. I called her out for being rude.
When I got with my white boyfriend 2 years ago, I had met his wife, and she called me a burnt black bee for no reason behind my back after I met her. So what about that kind of stuff? Like,
I just said, being rude is being rude. If somebody says something out of pocket,
ingrained in them. That's instilled in them.
yeah, it don't. If somebody is out of pocket, I don't care who you are. I'm gonna tell you out of pocket.
I wouldn't sit up there and argue with a BLK person just because that.
Did you not hear me, dog? I didn't argue. I said that was rude. She said, fuck her. I said, oh, so you just rude. And she said, I forgot you date white women. You like them. Oh, I don't even know why I'm talking to you. It became about me and berating and belittling me for what I did in my past when the whole conversation came up, because I didn't like her behavior. And I didn't sit here and say, you shouldn't talk to people like that. I don't like that. I literally just said, that was out of pocket. And she said, what, her? Fuck her. Oh shit! So you just rude? Okay.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, homie. You should have been like, man, yeah, fuck her. I would have been like that. Fuck that,
bro. It could be my mom, dog. I could be sitting next to my mom, my grandma. It don't matter who it is. If I disagree with the way you're treating a human being, I'm going to let it be known. What the fuck?
Man, bro, almost the exact same thing happened to me. Apples and oranges, man. Like, we're going to this restaurant that I like. I take her out there. She orders a cheeseburger and fries. I ordered a chicken Alfredo, great chicken Alfredo. The burger and fries come out. She goes, I didn't order that. And she goes, well, I thought you ordered cheeseburgers and fries. You didn't order burger and fries? Oh, I did, but I didn't order seasoned fries, and these have seasoning on them. And she goes, well, I mean, all our fries have seasoning on them. They come in the bag that way. Like, that's just how they all are. She goes, well, you got to just take it back, then brush off the seasoning off there because I didn't order this. I'm getting embarrassed because, you know, this is one of my favorite restaurants. So she comes back out with the food. I couldn't believe she actually ate it. Well, while she was back, while the waitress is in the back, I go, why are you being so mean to her? Why would you do that? She goes, oh, because me and my friends told me when we go out to eat, you're supposed to be rude to these white waitresses. I'm like, oh, so this is like a cultural thing that y'all do. Like, as black people, we don't do that. Like, because, you know, it's going to be hands if we act that way. But for a lot of these women, you know, I guess they go out in public and they're rude to the staff because they know they can get away with it.
That's outrageous. That is so immature and pathetic. Never.
Yeah, all women
want. Problem.
My friends do the whooping because
y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm Rob. Okay, all women want is unalive presidents. I don't care if you're white, black, Latino. It's all pink on the inside. And I've been saying that since I was 16. So I am not a racist in any kind of way. I will knock the bottom out of me.
Dog, answer the prompt. Answer the prompt, dog. Sideways. Answer the prompt, dog.
No, that's right, Rob.
Yes, everybody agrees with me. Every white dude. I mean, this a normal thinking white dude.
Rob.
Every black
Rob.
dude, yes.
Why do black women hate black men who date outside of their race?
I don't know. I'm not a black woman.
Do white men treat black women better?
I don't know. I treat all women like total gold digger sluts that just want unalive presidents, and I'll just nut their hair and kick them out of my house.
Oh God! Does race matter in dating?
Not at all.
He says, "Smut them all out."
Keith.
And look, Rob, no shade at all. Anytime I hear people say yes to that question, I know men like Rob, white dudes like Rob. And that's exactly what I heard from 80% of my homies. White, black, he said it's all pink on the inside. I'm trying to get some cat. So when I hear people say yes, vehemently, stand behind it, you just don't like yourself if you black and you say that. In the same way that they say the men who are doing this, like literally in the comments, she just said, somebody was like, it sounds like y'all, me and Rambo, had one bad experience and you think all BOK women are the same. I do not. But like I said to Ye, the girl I was dating had a bad experience with one or two people in her family comparing BOK women and white women, and assumed that I held the same logic and said, you're not going to be talking to me any type of way. Nigga, we've known each other for 6 months. Not once has there ever been a question or a conversation about the rhetoric that we use with each other. Now that you remember I used to date white women, you're like, oh yeah, you was probably dating them because you could run all over them. But just know you ain't going to talk to me crazy. Nigga, what? Bro, chill. Like, and I just say this to say, you say we putting each other in a box, but that's the same rhetoric and thought process that's happening when people get upset without even understanding why the person is with somebody of another race.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I keep getting messages and interrupted, but I don't see anything but, women have an agenda. And it's unalive presidents. I'm divorced. I've been in many failed relationships. So basically, what you want to do is just get them drunk out of their clothes, be done.
That's so unfortunate and so derogatory.
Hold on.
Is that
what
wrong?
Did he say?
I don't know about getting them drunk.
He said get them drunk and out their clothes. That's what he said. So there you have it.
Yeah, I got a black girl that lives below me that I'm going to talk her out of her clothes. And,
Rob, no, absolutely not. I had to stop what I was doing because,
yeah, it's outrageous. But listen, let me tell you, ladies, we gotta learn to sit and listen more than we talk, and let the truth be revealed to you. Don't be surprised. Don't quiet them. Listen and take heed.
This is why I'm working on my consistency.
That is so true.
Can you guys hear me now?
Man's logic is weird.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
What was the last thing you heard that I was saying?
You just froze up.
Well, I was doing something. I was fixing dinner.
You were in the midst of something.
Oh, so you didn't hear nothing I was saying?
You were reiterating something.
The first thing that I was saying was what Rob said, it's all pink on the inside. And I said, does race matter? And he said, no, because pretty much, you feel me? It was like, I grew up around hella white people, and not to say that in any type of way. All my best friends growing up, you feel me? And so it's like, when I see this question, the reason I asked this question is because some people will vehemently just say yes, stand beside it. And I'm just like, are you sure? Because usually what he just said is what I heard propagated by a group. All right, so it was a group of what? I want to say about 150 of us, right? Maybe 25 of us were black, mixed, whatever. The rest was white. Only about 25 of them showed any type of respect for women when women weren't around, i.e. their conversation, their rhetoric, and their mindset. So when I hear people say yes, I'm like, dog, a dog is a dog is a dog is a dog. It just dresses itself up differently.
Right.
And then somebody else in the comments said to me and Rambo that it sounds like y'all had one negative experience with a black woman.
Oh, yeah, we heard you say that part.
Yeah, and you put them all in a box. And I'm like, but it goes vice versa when you have women who said they've had negative experiences with BOK man, comparing them, and they just assume anytime they see a BOK man with someone not black, it's because of those negative reasons they were told in the past.
Mm-hmm. And I agree with you with that, Jules, because if we take even just personal experience out of it and we think about it in the grand scheme of things, this is more of a systemic and cultural issue, not so much as a racial issue.
Who am I defending, dog?
Nuanced. It becomes more nuanced than it does with. He's not defending. He's telling y'all what it is.
Look, in the comments, people are literally like, he's defending them. It makes sense. He grew up around all white tea people. Brad, my family is black from Brooklyn. I can't help that was 80% white people around me. I was with my cousins, 10 of them deep. So I don't even care. I don't try and prove I'm black. If you want to take my black card, you can have it. I don't give a fuck. My skin say enough.
I think that is more of a cultural issue, right? Because for one, I think that it's more gender driven than it is racially driven. But there is another deep layer of it being racially driven. And I'm saying that to say I saw a couple of comments by people and they were saying things like black women have been on the bottom of the social construct. Take accountability. Well, when you're raised in a racist country and the goal was for them to diminish you and reduce you, it's systemic. When you guys talked earlier about things that were social images, those things are systemic, right? Because if we're hated so much, I don't know if you guys remember this or see these in some of these movies for real, how these white women begun to wear the little caboose trunks in the back. They were doing that because their men were lusting after us. That's why they started putting those little caboose humps on the back. Okay? So as much as we are villainized, we're objectified and sexualized, and that has been intentionally. That's not something that we take accountability for. That's why it works so well amongst BLK women and men, because it was a triangulation. We're literally viewing and operating in and seeing so much Willie Lynch going on that we're too foolish to see it. It is an intentional agenda to get us to have these faults, these fights, and all these things, right? So we're on the bottom of the social totem pole, air quote, so they say, right? But that's a whole cultural, systemic thing, societal thing. In reality, Black women are excelling above multiple racial classes and amongst both genders. So if you want to just take that out of it and really take a good view and, take a moment, that's why it's a stereotype. It's successful because it's permeated throughout media. Not that it's factual or accurate.
But that is actually true.
I ain't never lied.
They place us at the bottom of the totem pole when statistically Black women are the most educated demographic in the United States. And it's sad that it's extremely sad because of our system here in our society that we are placed that low. Because when you really think about it, Black women are the blueprint when it comes to a lot.
Yes, ma'am.
Listen, without having the most degrees or the most education, Black women are still valuable. And that's why I want us to stray away from trying to prove why we deserve the same amount of recognition as other women. We don't, even if we're uneducated, we're still just as valuable as any other woman. Don't let nobody try to make it seem like you need to have accolades to be somebody.
But you know what, better sis? It's not about recognition. And I love what you're saying because you're right. But it's not about recognition. It's really not. What it's about is you don't need to demean us. It's a level playing field. We're all capable of accomplishing and getting through and doing the same things. But don't nag us to perpetuate things to be systemic that keep us listed and viewed as that way, right? So we're not trying to prove ourselves because most of us are carrying on about our Black business and our Black education for the most part, who are educated and who are about something and who are not getting caught up in these social conflicts, right? So that is just that you get tired of experiencing the multiple layers of micro and macro and dismissiveness and the like. You just get
Yes,
tired.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And that's the point. Because we don't try to argue. We're not trying to make you love us or make you, do none of that. We just want respect. Because we already deal with enough in our daily life, our own men that we be looking for. That's what it boils down to. It's just like, dang, we just
Can I say
we just
something?
want to be respected. That's
So
all we want.
with
And it's
that,
like a lot of, I said earlier, is reality.
with that
Like
being
we've been
said,
experiencing a lot of hatred towards us.
but on the same side of the token, I believe that. So I'm just because this has never been the argument I had, but a lot of the time, the argument of why BOK men will step out of their race, women will say, "What about them? We're with them because you could treat them however you wanted to, or you could talk to them however you wanted to. You feel me? I.e., you can run all over them, or I forget what exactly it was, but the word I used was docile for like he said so, saying that they're more docile and easier to, you feel me, get your way with. So I was told that other women are more ready and willing and not necessarily just saying like, oh, if he asks for something, I'll do it. And that's what I was saying is submission, and that is being demand something out of somebody. But the idea that I want to cater to you and ask you what you need and if you think, and i.e. this is what my whole point. You just said you want respect. BOK women just want to be respected. And I'm going to say, in my personal opinion, after hearing all of this, I think the BOK men who feel some type of way and that BOK women is because they didn't feel like they were being respected.
That's because of their inferiority complex. That's not to do with us. If nobody uplifts black men more than black women, I don't care what nobody. So
again, listen. Look, glitter baby. But say that so vehemently. Stop and think. I hear you, but that's the case across the board.
Yeah, black men do it because they can.
So if you more white tea women could, they would.
On another. Break your life. Black men do.
I said, do you think that BOK women would? BOK, do you think BOK women would if they could?
Because other men don't do that though.
I said BOK men date white women because they can. Because remember forbidden fruit. They were the forbidden fruit.
Well, I'm talking about these women are more submissive and these women are more docile and this and that. I think that's where the triangulate us against each other. So we're.
Oh yeah, no, I don't agree with that dumb shit. I don't agree with that. I was trying to word like my whole thought process, and I took a long way about it, and that's why the whole idea about was her just saying respect and women wanting respect, and it was just like, well, from what a lot of guys were saying in the idea of why they choose outside of it boils respected.
Which is interesting because I've heard that all women have the same capability to disrespect and emasculate their men the same as supposedly women do it. And then you got to think of narrative comes from.
I mean, having the ability to do it and having the will to do it is two different things. Or actually taking it there. You feel me?
But that's the point I'm making to you. Okay, I'll put it to you like this. Let me just give you an example. And hopefully I hope carries. Whenever, I had this conversation the other day. So say you take a group of friends, right? My house. And then you have my auntie and my mom giving advice. I'm looking at them like they got boo-boo on their face because I know their lives. My friends take their advice easier because they don't have a lens to view them in otherwise, and it looks like it's them and it's logic. It's the same concept when you flip it. When I have seen that men have a tendency to treat Black women a certain way because they're familiar with us, but they put on in another capacity for those who are outside of us, and they interpret those things as them being this and more this and more that, right? But the truth is that Black women, Black men, white women have no problem calling the police on y'all. A Black woman gonna think police on y'all. And you laughing, Jules, because you know I ain't lying.
100%
right.
The N-word too.
Right.
That's not true. I was with a Black man for 12 years, never called the police, would never say the N-word ever in my life.
All right, Telly. Look, Telly, her point is a BOK woman is going to hesitate the cops more likely. She didn't say all white tea women.
I know, honey, listen to me. Listen, y'all are talking as outliers. I'm talking about in general, like everybody else, right? For the sake of conversation, talking in general.
So then does that make
No, Kelly, you're missing the point. Hold up, speaker. Hold up, Telly. You are literally missing the point. So as some of the ramifications and the repercussions, even if you could feel away as Glitter Baby, or it's just as simple as you don't appreciate what's happening and you for him to leave, and then you like, I'm about to call the. How many times have these stories? So for a BOK woman, she's going to remember that his skin is brown, and not saying all white women aren't going to think about that, but this is like women no more, and it's not because I fops, but the conversations, the thought process is just completely like knowing that I look more like you, you're thinking more like this, and you don't have to go outside of yourself to make it make sense. I've had to exclude my white tea counterpart girlfriend that I wouldn't have to say nothing about if I was with my BOK. Even told me, all right, it's cool, let's just move it along. You feel me? So it's just the mind is not saying it's universal. It's just I can more likely relate to the person who looks like me.
Interesting.
Thank you so much, Jules. Up here.
No,
I don't joking. But see, that's the thing that Jules that I feel like in a lot of I agree with Jules on to his stances, right? Because no matter how we slice it, our upbringing defines a cultural norm for us. The way in which we experience life as not even just male or female, but as people. And so there's an ability there, and there are things that are unspoken that never have to be, right? Like my blood pressure goes up a little bit and I get a little stressed with BOK man driving and we see the police pull up behind us.
Right.
We don't even look behind us because we already know it's a black and white. We keep our eyes straight into turn down the music.
Why are you doing that?
Right.
Yeah, you must. I don't know what's going on in Ohio. I'm talking.
No, it's not Ohio, girl.
No. I'm talking to Jules He's from Ohio.
Wherever, it don't matter. When you black, it transcends region. It don't matter. It transcends location. So, whatever city you in.
I mean, I think with just being American, everybody discrepancy.
Telly. Nobody's coming for you right now, but we are heavily disagreeing.
Not taking it like that.
Right, but you're telling us you think that it's just no. There's a difference. There is.
It is a difference.
Look, so look, with a Jewish and 87-year-old, right? And I came home and I told 2 white people that she was being appreciate the way I was being treated. They shrugged it off and said that that's a boss. White people came and worked with us and was filling in. She walked out. Why the hell is she talking to you like that? You feel me? So I couldn't even explain the treatment because the person who was just figuring I was. But then a white person walked in the room and they called it out themselves. So it's having that and having to try and explain what was going on. I didn't try and explain it. As soon as they said, "Are you sure?" I said, "I'm done." Y'all don't get it.
That's basically my point.
And
Is that explain it to stupid people.
no, it was white people.
Right. Explain it to the other white people.
Because they saw it. They watched it. They were in the room. Once they watched it with their own eyes, they didn't want an explanation. To a black person, they would have had to see it or need an explanation. They would have understood because they would have been in a similar, somebody was being prejudiced and talking down to them while being, if you try to explain somebody being nasty nice, it sounds like an old person was being old.
And then what I was gonna piggyback off, Miss Speaker was saying, that's actually very true. And then I can only speak for my experiences, but in my sit down, the Confederate flag actually happened to be on the front of all the cop cars. So imagine seeing that in your rearview mirror.
Right. So
That's
I'm just
scary.
saying that there is just.
Are you in Tennessee?
Mississippi. Oh, see, girl. I love you, cuz. But you know, there just is, right? And those layers of things, that is a lot of what the experience is as Black women, right? There are so many silent microaggressions that we experience as that we can't